English 101 students, by now you have received your first graded composition. I want to take you through the process of marking a paper so that you can better understand my comments and what I'm looking for. Therefore, I have taken an old essay and I have created some grammatical mistakes that I will be changing and adding codes so that you can better understand the comments that you're receiving on your paper. If you'll take a look at this essay, you'll notice that at the top the student has numbered the pages. I created a student's name here, Lisa Marie Jones. As you can see, the original student's name was Hill. But this paper is numbered incorrectly for MLA format. So I'm going to click on Insert and then Page Number. I want my page to be located at the top, my page number to be located at the top of the page. So I will click on Top of Page and then Plain Number. A 1 will appear. Since the student's last name is Jones, I need to type in Jones and space, and then I will highlight the name and the page number and move it to the other side of the page. Then I will hit the Escape button and this page number will appear on every page of the essay. And it will number the pages consecutively. Now, if you'll notice the heading, this student has extra line spacing in her heading. And some of you may have received the comment, omit extra line spacing in your heading and between your paragraphs. So I am going to highlight the heading, click on, I'm going to click on, not review, but home, and where it says paragraph, I'm going to change the spacing is already double spaced, but there is a block underneath that says don't add space between paragraphs of the same length or same style. I will click on that, click OK, and it will take the extra line spacing out of my heading. Okay, I'm then going to make sure that my entire essay is Times New Roman 12-point font, and it is, as you can see. If you'll notice the heading, the student's name is on the first line, the instructor's name is on the second line, the course is on the third line. This date is written in the using an incorrect format, so I am going to mark through the existing date and in red show the student how she should put the date on her paper in MLA format. So this paper was submitted January the 27th, 2012. So 27, the day goes first. Then the month should be spelled out, and then the year should follow. Okay, I'm going to take this line out, and that's the format in which her date should appear in her heading. She has titled this Best Birthday Surprise. Okay, make sure your titles are creative and original, and make sure your title is not your topic. If you'll notice, she failed to indent her paragraphs. Most of you probably have the indentions already set, but however, if you don't, space over 5 times, and some of you can just hit the tab key and it will space over for you. Okay, so I'm going to indent all of these paragraphs. Now, let's take a look at the paragraph. It reads, 2 years ago, we gave our son the best birthday present ever. Okay, for some reason, we have a green squiggly line here. If I had to guess, it's probably a spacing error. So I'm going to take out a space. Okay, so please pay attention to any green squiggly lines. It may indicate that you simply have a spacing error. Okay? My husband found out he was deploying when we found out we were pregnant with our third child. The next line reads, my son at the time was 3 years old. 9 months later, we welcomed another healthy baby girl. Our son turned 4 a week later. Okay? If you'll notice, we have 2 sentences here. 9 months later, we welcomed another healthy baby girl. This is one sentence. And then we have another sentence. Our son turned 4 a week later. You cannot join 2 sentences with a comma. That is considered a comma splice, which is a form of a run-on sentence. When you do this, I will list the code G6, which is the section in your handbook that deals with run-on sentences. So, how can we correct this? We can place a coordinating conjunction after the comma, and your coordinating conjunctions, you have 7 of them. They are and, but, for, or, nor, yet, and so. Okay, if we had a coordinating conjunction after that comma, that would correct the run-on sentence. The only punctuation mark we can use to join 2 sentences is a semicolon. There are several ways, of course, of correcting this run-on sentence. We could simply put a period after girl and make it 2 sentences. You were provided with a handout on all the options for correcting run-on sentences. 2 weeks later, my husband left to serve our country for the 3rd time. 2 of our children's birthdays are in August, exactly 1 week apart. Here we have a fragment. Make sure all of your statements consist of both a subject and a verb. If you have a fragment, you will see the code G5. That's the section in your handbook that will help you address fragments. We could have corrected this fragment by simply placing a comma after August and joining these few words with the complete sentence that came before it. If you'll look at the next sentence in the second paragraph, it reads, my son took his leaving hard. Okay, we need to make sure that our pronouns references are clear to the reader. So here, this is a pronoun reference problem, so I would put pronoun reference unclear. We could have simply corrected this by saying my son took his father's leaving hard. Even though it was hard for me also, just giving birth to a child and being left to take on both roles, comma, mommy and daddy, I had to stay strong. He deployed late August, and we knew that he would return the next August. So the planning began. Now, so is a coordinating conjunction. It can also be used as an introductory word. And if we begin our sentence with the word so, we need to make sure that a comma follows. Okay? Anytime you leave a comma off an introductory word or introductory phrase or an introductory clause, you will get the comment, comma, and the code P1B. Okay? We decided we would wait till the end of the month to celebrate his big day. And we're going to change till to until. Now, in the next paragraph, his coming home dates seemed to change daily, which was very frustrating. I had a party to plan. Okay. Um, we're going to correct this fragment by saying, let's change this let's take out this period, replace it with a comma, lowercase the W on which was very frustrating since I had a party to plan. Now we no longer have a fragment. I have watched countless videos on homecomings. Okay, we have a shift in verb tense here. Let's change this to had. I had watched countless videos on homecomings. There is no reason that this word should be capitalized, so I'm going to make a note here for the writer to lowercase the word homecoming. And thought how special it would be to do something like that for our wonderful son. So, once again, we have the introductory word so. We will place a comma after it. I was on the lookout for a perfect party place. Next thing was to invite. Next thing was who to invite. Okay? Let's make this a complete statement. Lowercase next. The next thing I needed to do was to decide who to invite. And I'm going. This was a special surprise, and we're going to put a comma before this coordinating conjunction and a subject after the coordinating conjunction, and I only wanted to share this moment with family and close friends. That, let's change that to who, since we are referring to people. Who stood by our sides while he was deployed. Okay? If you'll look at the next paragraph, it reads, finally. Once again, we've started a sentence with an introductory word, an adverb. Since it ends in ly, we know it's an adverb, and we're going to place a comma before that introductory word. Finally, August came and we had a date. I booked the party, sent out invites. Avoid using slang and other informal expressions. She sent out invitations and made arrangements. I was so excited. It had been a very long year for us, and this was going to be the best memory out of this experience. I was so excited. It had been a very long year for us. That's one sentence, and we have another sentence that follows. We've joined it with a coordinating conjunction, so we need to place a comma before that coordinating conjunction. Anytime you join two sentences with the coordinating conjunction, you will be instructed to place a comma before it, or you will receive the comment P1A. Okay? Which means you need a comma before the coordinating conjunction. And once again, we have a slang term here that we often use in speaking, but we are to avoid in writing. And this was going to be the best memory out of this experience. I think I would personally take out the word out and just say the best memory of this experience. Our daughter had just turned 1, which he missed. Once again, it's been a while since we've talked about the father, so let's make it clear by putting which my husband. Okay, missed instead of the pronoun he. And we have a comma and a coordinating conjunction, so let's make this a complete sentence. And our son had turned 4. Okay, and the final paragraph. Finally, we need another comma since we have an introductory word here. The day arrived. We have a shift in verb tense, so let's make this past tense like all the other verbs. For me to pick him up for the airport. Let's change this to from. Simple typo. From the airport. I got up early, cleaned. When we have items in a series, let's make sure they're followed by commas. Cleaned, dressed up the birthday prince, and I think this is the last thing she did, and called my friend to come with him. Once again, we have 2 sentences joined by a coordinating conjunction, so we need a comma there. If not, you will get the comment, comma, P1A. Okay? So I could go pick up my husband and take him to a friend's house so that we don't need a comma here because this is the beginning of a clause, so that he could be at the birthday party before us. We had to make a few stops before arriving at the party, so that if you can insert that, then you don't need a comma before the coordinating conjunction, so that he could get in there and take position. All this time she has, we should change that to had no idea that Daddy is home. Now we can replace Daddy with his name, so anytime you can replace a title with the name, it should be capitalized, that Daddy. And we also need to change this verb. We have another shift in verb tense from is to was home. We pulled up at the party, led him to the party area, and there he was. Standing in the middle of the room, let's take out this coordinating conjunction since it is not a complete sentence. He did not even notice him. Okay. We want to make it clear who we are referring to, so we're going to change this to my son did not even notice him. I had to pick him, I had to point to him and tell him, and this, let's make this a direct quote. We're going to put a comma there, quotation marks. Always capitalize the first word of a direct quote. That's a complete sentence. Daddy is standing right there. We're going to enclose our end mark in the quotation. His little eyes swelled up with tears. He could barely walk. He was so emotional. He could barely walk. We can avoid this run-on sentence by putting a subordinate conjunction there, because he was so emotional. He walked to him and he lashed his arms around him and hugged him tight. Let's put a comma before this coordinating conjunction because we're joining 2 sentences. And he hugged him tightly. We need to put an L-Y on the end of this word. We need to avoid contractions in formal writing, so we're going to change I couldn't to I could. Let's see. Could not have planned a better birthday surprise than this. We will not address the reader. Read page 201 in your handbook. Avoid addressing the reader by using second person pronouns. You or your in your compositions. The only time you will use you or your is when you are speaking to an audience, and you should not sound conversational or address the reader in your compositions. Okay? I wasn't there, so let's find another word. Let's say the guest. The guest could see there was not a dry eye in the place. It truly was the best birthday party ever, a memory that will last a lifetime. This is a fragment. It's not a complete sentence. Best birthday ever. This is also a fragment, and like so many of you, misuse of the exclamation point as well. So I'm going to join this by saying it was a memory that will last a lifetime. I'm going to join these two with the semicolon. I believe it was the best birthday surprise ever. And I'm going to change this exclamation point to a period. Now, there were several other grammatical mistakes that I marked in papers, like spelling out numbers. Whenever you have a one or two word number, make sure to spell them out. If you receive the code P9F, that's in reference to spelling out numbers. But these were just some of the things that I wanted to address with you before the next writing assignment. If you have any questions about these grammatical mistakes and how to correct them, please contact me, stop by my office for a conference, or take your paper to the writing lab at either the Decatur campus or the Huntsville campus to receive assistance. I will be checking to make sure that the mistakes you made in the first paper you do not make in the second paper. I hope this has been helpful, and once again, if you need any assistance, please contact me via the email in Blackboard, or you can contact me by phone, and I'll be more than happy to go over your paper with you via the telephone if you cannot come in during my office hours. Thanks.